A big court case yesterday. Former Social Development Minister Bathabile Dlamini is going to be sentenced next month. To remind you, she's been found guilty of perjury for lying to the 2017 inquiry into the SASSA social grants crisis. Now, the former minister is pleading for leniency, saying that she's a single mother who looks after her elderly parents and only earns 110,000 rand a month. Let's get a reaction from DA MP and Member of Parliament's Social Development Committee. It's Bridget Masango. Bridget, always good to have you on eNCA. Leniency or no leniency?
Well, I would say no leniency, Gareth, because we as the Democratic Alliance think that this is a wake-up call for public officials and leaders not to abuse their positions of power. So I wouldn't say there should be leniency on this one.
A lot of people very angry as well, Bridget. Tell me if you agree or not that this was the person that was dealing with the most vulnerable of the vulnerable, those relying on SASSA grants. And we're talking about an incredibly small amount of money each month simply to survive on. Some people calling it ignorance, some people calling it arrogance, that now pleading for leniency, earning the salary that Bathabile Dlamini does. What's your view on that?
I agree with the angry South Africans. If one recalls that this happened when we laid charges against the former minister, it was in 2018, a year after the huge crisis that hit South Africa's social grant payment system, when CPS was due to leave the SASSA, and we were not getting any headway with the then minister Bathabile Dlamini. So for the former minister to now say that she is poor because she earns 100,000 rand a month, when these people we are talking about, 11 million of them are actually, some of them getting 420 rand a month. I think that is arrogance at best, and it is just victim victim mentality at worst.
Help me understand, Bridget. Obviously, you've been involved in this for a very, very long time now. Let's try and put a human face to this for a moment. When you talk about 420 rand a month, it's inconceivable for most of us who are fortunate enough to earn a salary. Not 110,000 rand a month, I might add, but earn salaries of some kind. The kind of suffering that someone earning that sort of money is going through just simply to survive. Some could even go as far as to say the treatment and the way it was handled could be deemed as inhumane.
Yes, I think, Gareth, what we need to know as politicians and leaders and public officials is that the opportunity and the privilege that we have to actually lead these organizations or these government departments should not be taken lightly. These are the people, many of them, especially now after the COVID-19 pandemic, who rely on, some of them, on 350 rand to survive with their families. And this is I would say it should actually serve as a deterrent or even an eye-opener to say we are here dealing with millions upon millions of people who rely on us to actually make sure that they see a plate of food the next day for them and their families.
Last question to you, Bridget, before I say goodbye. How severely should the president, the country's president, handle this? Many calling for the minister to be fired immediately. What's your view?
Well, that is what we are calling for. We are saying that the harshest consequence must be given here, given the enormity and the severity of the situation we are handling. I mean, even now at this point, Gareth, we're dealing with serious challenges at SASSA, with people not getting their money, with people who are not even approved for the 350 rand that they need to survive. So whatever the harshest legal sort of consequence on this should be applied, because this is totally and utterly unacceptable.
And so that's the state president. Bridget, perhaps before I let you go, I can't not ask this question. So that's the state president and her role as minister. Let's not forget as well, president of the ANC Women's League. So now Cyril Ramaphosa has to switch hats and also take action as the ANC president. A, do you think he will? And B, what action do you think that should be as the leader of the ruling party?
Well, it was under President Cyril Ramaphosa that we asked the president to fire the minister at the time, and the next year, I think it was in June 2019, that the minister was not on the list of the cabinet. So we just would say to the president, he must go and follow the minister, the then minister, now president of the Women's League, and do what is right, which is to make sure that the minister faces the consequences or suffers the consequences of her behavior as the Minister of Social Development at the time.
The entire country furious this morning. Bridget Masango, and I appreciate your time in speaking to us. DA MP and Member of Parliament's Social Development Committee joining us here on eNCA.